Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 24th of July 2024. It's currently 9 p.m. on the West Coast, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember, this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions. All right, so one chat a week is coming onto the YouTube channel. The rest go into our members area. Obviously, I'll be back late August with another one on YouTube, but here we go. Been chatting last week about the All Lords, how it broken out of this base. Subtly was saying just be careful because it's been rallying up above that 10 exponential moving average. And so there's just a few things to point out. Whenever it is normal, obviously, for any uptrend for the price, to stay extended above a 10 exponential moving average, but it always comes back and tests its 10 and 21 and 50, and it's a very normal thing to do. And so whenever there's kind of three big up days like we had here, it is normal for that market to pause, come back, test its moving averages, and then hopefully find support and continue its uptrend. It is a natural thing, but what human nature does is that we wait for these big up days, 1, 2, 3, and everyone starts partying and dancing on the desks, and then they get spanked because they're entering a bunch of trades up here after the market's just rallied for 3 big days. The trick's to be taking the entries back here when the All Lords and when all the indices are in bases, and then you have leading stocks breaking out. Okay, now quickly, just that's obviously a chart of the All Lords. Let's just go to the MDQ, the Nasdaq 100, sideways, and let's go to the S&P 500 near all-time highs. Let's just remove that emoji. Now, a few of the trades have been talking about a breakout Wednesday. Okay, AKM probably one of the better trades of late, and obviously this massive base, it went nuts. It's coming back. Okay, I'm actually stopped out of my last 1/6 of that, the last little bit of that. So that's life. I would have liked it obviously to fling higher, but bloody good trade. This is why I sell into strength. Okay, for at least half my positions, but usually for these big winners that just fly, I'm getting out of 75%, sometimes even 5/6 of a trade, depending on the size of it. I can get out in many different parcels, right? And anyway, this is coming back down to earth. It'd be amazing, interesting to see if it comes back to this 23 23% resistance line. Does it hold up, and do we get a bounce or not? But I'm not going to trade that, by the way. But it'd be interesting to watch out. MDR trade, big move up, and then it's just stuffing around. Okay, so now. What's another one, a new one I've been talking about? I'm not going to go through all of them. Shit, let me just remove these bloody emojis again. Sorry guys, I was just playing around before, having some fun. Let's just get rid of them. There we go. So obviously Cochlear had a nice break, came back into its base, and has had a few good days. So early days for that. I mean, this is, I just think that Cochlear, it's a bit like the sun position that I was talking a lot about, that was breaking back here, and it just takes patience. This fell back into its base here and then got on with it, came back down, tested its 50-day. Just these big heavy stocks with large caps and whatever. This is in the self-managed super fund, really wide stops and just incredible patience, like the sun trade, trying to really ride that as long as I can. Okay, now just some trades. First of all, I just wanted to point out I'm going to try and do this every now and then, just to point out some of the awesome setups that some members have been nailing. First of all, Craig just nailed this SDV setup, kind of chatting a bit about the fundamentals on it, and then got into the technicals and blah blah blah. And so just check it out. The move, I missed it. I should have followed Craig into that. Hey, but what a move today, and it's obviously nice structure to this, and a nice uptrend, and a good move. And the other one that's got nailed is IMD from Rod, which luckily I did jump into this. I was watching it anyway, but I obviously brought my attention again. Shit, guys, sorry, what am I doing? There we go, got the chart up now. And so there was just this chart posted by Rod. Obviously just this huge cup and handle that broke out of this tight handle here and just went for it. So I've trimmed it as I posted the forum, trimmed a lot up here, but I'm still riding about half of that, just under half, about 40% of that position. So we'll see if she can continue up. Actually, I didn't trim half on this big day. I trimmed half on this day here, on this doji. I wish I trimmed half on that day, but anyway, riding the other 40% on that day. Now, some new setups beyond those that I'm watching. First of all, they've all come up in DAVA scans or percent scans or whatever, but this actually came up in a tri-point resistance scan. This is a illiquid, right? CCR. It's, you can do your reading on the fundamentals of it, but obviously it's been pretty shit stock, hey? This has been getting hammered. But now it's just found this base and it's just grinding sideways for about 14 weeks now. We look on a weekly chart. And maybe this company's turning themselves around. Okay, came down, made these lows here of about 18 cents, 17 cents, or whatever. It's gone sideways for a long time. Put a new high in here, retrace a little bit, and then it's just dead flat for 18 weeks with this massive resistance here at 265. So pretty illiquid. I might not even take that, but I just thought it's interesting. The huge base, and for small accounts, it's pretty high probability base there, right? Another little one that we're talking about, back when all these finance stocks were flying not long ago. A lot of the little kind of alternative lenders had this huge rally back here. And Hum was what kind of leading that rally. It's like Hum and Pepper Money and Judo and all those, Resi Mac or whatever it is. And they are all kind of flying at the same time. And then they all just been stalling ever since. But Hum got really hammered, okay? I'd have to go, but I did look up this day a bit back. I'm pretty sure it's just an earnings report, but I forget. But anyway, had this massive rally, got hammered, and then it fell to this huge supply zone here that I kind of drew on this chart, right? And then kind of bounced off this supply zone, and then it's just put massive resistance in here at a high of 47, and I've been playing around with it a bit because it had this tight range here with a really good risk reward. Now it's got it's printed just kind of a very, very similar one. It's come up in a short-term Davis box scan that I was doing earlier tonight. And so I just think A, massive sign of a bottom, B, big resistance, obviously volume, we've got VCP going in here, and the risk reward on it's insane. So Hum is a stock I'm looking at. Decent chance of failure though, right? I just got to add is that this is just a 40-cent thing with overhead supply, and these are volatile. They can just poke out and just bang the next day straight down. So anyway, I think it's good risk reward on it. And I'm not saying it's the most high probability setup I've ever seen though, right? So a couple others, right? I mentioned it just then, but Judo Bank. So Judo is got this massive resistance here. Okay, this is coming up in scans out of the yin yang, Davis boxes, Frank's boxes, whatever, right? And this is a relatively new float. I've talked about it a lot. It hasn't really performed overly well, has it? But got big resistance up here at 144. Been basing for, I don't know, I'm not going to count that, but that's about 20 weeks, I reckon. This has got to months, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, about 4 months now. And what I really need it to do now is just form that little tight handle, okay? It's kind of doing it, like it came up to this high. What I would have hated if it ran from this low and then just broke out here, that would have been, fake out city, okay? Just a failed trade waiting to happen. But it didn't do that. It came up here and it stalled, and then it's retraced, and now it's hopefully forming a little tight kind of right-hand side there, hopefully, where it's like coming up and then it's going to come around. And let's see, I'd love it to pause before that breakout zone a little bit more just to increase the probability. And but Judo is definitely on the kind of radar. I was talking last week about, the week before last, I think, about JB Hi-Fi when it was down here, okay, and I was saying that I really don't want that to run up and break out. If it did, I wouldn't be in it. But I wanted to come up and form a tight handle, and it did come up. It faked a bunch of suckers in and out, and then formed a tight handle, and boom, and a good trade there for anyone that likes to just scalp or do quick trades, but also a decent entry for for longer term swing traders. I didn't get it. I was waiting for this to just pivot and chill out for a bit longer, but so I missed it. I miss a lot of trades like that. Okay, but but without this little after this little handle, without that little handle there is no trade as far as I'm concerned. It can't just come up here and break out. It's just such a huge chance of a failed breakout, okay, when that happens, right? The other shit I'm watching is just sitting in a massive weekly Davis box is RDX, okay, and this is a recent float IPO that has blue sky above it, okay. It IPO'd here, and unlike most IPOs, it didn't go down, 50, 60%. It just kind of went nowhere for a while, and then it's had an uptrend, and now it's basing, okay. And so It's kind of like a bit of a widespread during the day. You can have these big ranging days, and I would love that to tighten up a bit and just give me really right hand side, just kind of around here a little bit to give me that awesome risk reward. But it's not perfect at the moment. How it's kind of like these highs are just sloping down a bit. I'd love it to just come up and test this and then form a little tight, really tight handle. But we'll wait and see if it does it. On the self-managed super fund front, I've been saying that, by the way, there's a head and shoulder function that's just getting rolled out tonight. It's going to be found in the ARC tool. You go to ARC tool and it's going to have a drop-up thing here. Currently it's sitting here though, so you can actually use it. But it's just head and shoulders. We've also got this emoji thing that's come up here, which is good fun. But that's just a bit of fun there, right? It's obviously not going to help anyone get rich, is it? All right, so look, I've been stuffing around with wire. Obviously, this is this copper ETF, and it just feels like a few months ago where copper was the big in thing, and everyone was crapping on all day long about how copper is the next big thing and get long and blah blah blah, right? And had this huge run up here. This is the copper ETF. Huge run up here out of this base where it went from like $11 up to $16. And let's just get rid of everything, okay, and just clean this up. And the way I'm viewing this is that I've got some spare cash sitting in that self-managed super fund that I want to allocate to a super long-term thing, okay? And I definitely think there's a big supply zone here on wire, which kind of a bit like the hum, probably less clear on wire than it was on hum, but these massive supply zones that served as support or resistance in the past numerous times, not just once, but there needs to be really significant lows where they just went down and just kept finding support there and then had a big move out of it. And and Hum's a decent example of that, but wire is shaping up in that way as well, okay? And so the reason I've got it drawn there is mainly because of this resistance that happened here, okay? All right, so obviously big resistance here, but it also found support here and support around and resistance around that level a bunch of times, and it's had a lot of trades done around that level, okay? And just think that if you measure this head and shoulder, okay, project it down, it's also got kind of a target around this level too, probably a tiny bit below that level actually, if you take the height of that head and shoulder and detract it from the right shoulder, right? So it actually has a target just below it. But anyway, cut a long story short, if we can get that on wire, it didn't look like we were ever going to get there, right? Looked like it was breaking back up, but if we do get down there, it's going to get added to my self-managed super fund and going to sit on my ass for the next 10-20 years on that. And WNX, it's just a little tiddler, not that liquid, that is just setting up here on the ASX. High risk shit though, right? This thing's obviously pretty shit company so far in terms of performance, and really obviously a penny dreadful, but really clear resistance line, and I'm going to leave that because it's too illiquid. I'm sick of some of these illiquid stocks that I get stuck in, or just get tiny fills on, like sometimes I'm trying to buy some stock and I get filled on like 5 shares, right? And it's just like, and then I'm stuck holding 5 shares. It's a total pain in the ass. But anyway, that's 14 minutes of utter bullshit. And I'm going to be back on YouTube in a month. And otherwise, for the Pro Trader members, I'll catch you in the members area. Cheers, everyone. Catch ya.